Hello everyone. In this particular section, we are going to deal with Indian Contract Act 1872. This particular content which we are going to discuss will be helpful for the students of BCA, BBA, BCom, E-commerce, MBA as well as LLB. So let us begin with. In this particular section, there are various contents with which we are going to deal with. This Indian Contract Act, I am going to deal in various sections in which the contents will be as follows. First of all, we will discuss the introduction about Indian Contract Act, then the meaning of the term contract, the definition of the term contract, various features of contract, types of contract, essentials of valid contract, offer, acceptance, breach of contract, etc. In our day-to-day life, we always hear or speak about contract. Contracts play a very vital and important role in day-to-day life of every individual. In India, the Indian Contract Act 1872 governs the laws relating to contract. Each contract creates certain rights as well as duties on the parties entering into contract. As far as the enactment is concerned, it came into effect in the year 1872, 1st September, and it was applicable to whole India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And it is the principal law which regulates the terms and conditions relating to contract. Understand what is meant by contract. Meaning of the term contract is that as per section 2E of Indian Contract Act, an agreement is defined. Every promise and every set of promise forming consideration for each other. So basically contract is an agreement but which is enforceable by law. An agreement is a promise which is accepted by the parties involved in the contract. That's why in short we can say that contract is an agreement which is enforceable by law. All contracts are basically agreements, but all agreements are not contract. A contract is basically an accepted agreement which is fully understood and recognized by the law, hence it is enforceable by law. So this is meant by contract, which is defined under section 2H of Indian Contract Act. There are certain essential features of a contract. A contract basically is an agreement which is enforceable by law. It needs two parties and it is created in several ways. That is, it can either be orally, or it can be in writing. Or it can even be by way of conduct, that is by inference. Or it can be by combination of all the above. Or any two of the above. So there are certain items that need to happen for a contract to be considered as binding. First and foremost is that it should have an offer as well as an acceptance. Apart from that, there should be an intention to create legal relationship and there should be certain terms and conditions. And above all, it needs two parties to enter into a contract, because one single party cannot enter into contract with itself. So that is minimum requirement of two parties is there to constitute a contract. A contract consists of an agreement. An agreement is the offer plus acceptance. So what is an offer? Let us discuss first. Offer is also called as proposal and it is defined under section 2A of Indian Contract Act, which says that a person who signifies his assent to another to do something or to abstain from doing something with an object of obtaining assent from the other person, that is said to be making an offer or a proposal. So the person who makes the proposal or offer is called as promiser or offerer. The offer can either be positive or negative, and it is having various sub-classifications. There are certain essential elements of a valid offer. That is, there must be at least two parties, the person making the offer and the person to whom the offer is made. Apart from that, The offer has to be communicated to the party to whom it is being made. The offer must be made with an intention to create legal relationship. And the terms and conditions of offer must be certain and specific. The offer may either be general or it may be specific. The offer can be classified into various types, such as express offer. When the offer is made by express words, which can either be orally or in written format, that particular offer will be called as expressed offer because it is expressed to someone. The second classification is about implied offer, where the offer is not expressed but it is derived from the actions or circumstances of the parties. For example, if A is traveling in a bus, he goes and sits in the bus and the conductor gives him the ticket. This is an example of implied offer because neither orally nor in written format any specification has been made by the passenger traveling to the conductor. The next classification is general offer. When the offer is made to the public at large, it is called as general offer. The next one is specific offer. Here, the offer is not addressed to a single individual, but it is open to everyone whosoever is ready to accept the same. That is called as general offer. Apart from that, when we speak about specific offer, the specific offer is made to a specific individual and no one else can accept that particular offer except the one to whom it is made. That is called as specific offer. The next one is cross offer. When two parties make an offer to each other and at the same time and about the same thing, both are unaware about each other's proposal. For example, A says to B that, or A writes a letter to B that I am having a mobile phone which I want to sell you at such and such price. And B is not aware about this particular offer. B too writes a letter to A where he proposes A that B wants to purchase A's phone for such and such amount of money. Both are not aware that the other one has offered the same offer to them. So this is called as cross offer. The next classification is about counter offer. Here, the original offer is refused and replaced by another. Here, the party making the counter offer gives three options to the original offerer, either to accept the offer, either to refuse the offer, or to make another offer. So basically, in counter offer, with example, we can say that if A says to B that I want to sell my car to you for rupees 1 lakh. B, instead of accepting the same, makes an counter offer to A. I am ready to purchase your car at the rate of 80,000 rupees. So here A offered the car at the rate of 1 lakh rupees. But B countered the offer of A with the amount of rupees 80,000. So this is called as counter offer. An offer can either be lapsed or revoked also. Lapse means that it is become invalid or it does not exist anymore. It has lapsed. So there are various reasons through which or due to which the offer can be lapsed or either it can be revoked. Revoked means taken aback. An offer can lapse after a defined or reasonable time. If A made an offer to B to accept the proposal within a period of 8 days, but B fails to accept the same within that time limit, then the offer is lapsed. An offer lapses if it is not accepted in the specified mode. For example, A wrote a letter to B, so B must communicate the acceptance in the format of a letter only. If it is not done, then the offer may lapse. Another thing is that an offer can lapse by way of rejection also. That is, A has made an offer but B rejects the same, so offer is lapsed. Apart from that, an offer can lapse by the offerer if the offerer is dead or has become insane until the acceptance is given. So if before acceptance is given the offerer dies or the offerer becomes insane, then in that particular circumstance obviously the offer will stand to be lapsed. Apart from that, an offer can also be revoked, means taken aback. An offer can be revoked before acceptance. If A made an offer to B and before B accepts the same, A says that though I made an offer but now I revoke the same, so offer can be revoked. An offer can lapse by illegality or destruction of subject matter. Now, when we speak about destruction of subject matter, I will give you an example here. If A makes an offer to B that this is a horse which I want to sell to you, B accepts the same, but actual delivery of horse has not been done or amount has not been transferred to A, and before the transactions take place the horse dies. That means the subject matter has been destroyed. Hence, the offer cannot take place. Apart from that, the offer can be revoked if it is decided by the offerer to revoke the same before it is being accepted. So, here we can conclude that the offer can be lapsed. In the next section, we will deal with acceptance. Thank you. If anyone has any doubt, you can kindly comment in the comment box and you will get an answer or clarification for your doubt. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and share.